Hello, my name is Jack Elder, Senior Director for Advanced Planning with Comprehensive Brokerage Services. Today we're going to talk about complimentary estate planning reviews. This is a service we provide to the advisors that work with us. Not only do we have world-class case management and underwriting, post placement support, with a technology platform, and the best marketers and case managers in the business. We've heavily invested in advanced planning support. So if your clients, if it's been a long time since they've had their documents reviewed, or if you're onboarding a new client, it's a great time to consider our service of a complimentary estate planning review. It will demonstrate to your clients another way that you can help them meet their financial goals. So let's jump into it. You should offer estate planning reviews because you'd be surprised how often I see estate planning documents that are out of date or need repair. And I'm going to go through an example with you to show that. The reviews we provide give you a plain English summary, and your clients a plain English summary about what happens to their wealth, who gets what, when do they get it, and who has a job to do and what is it, whether it's a trustee, personal representative, guardian. We also provide the tax implications of their plans so that you can help your clients meet their financial goals. As a rule of thumb, an estate plan should be reviewed with every major life event: marriage, divorce, death of a parent, inheritance, child being born. Absent a major life event, you should have your clients should review their plans every 5 years. So, that's the key, is making sure that the documents don't go stale. And that's a big value add for you. Morningstar conducted a survey of over 1,500 investors, and they asked this simple question: what do investors look for in a financial advisor? Here are their top 3 results. 1, my advisor helps me reach my financial goals. 2, they have the relevant skills and knowledge. 3, they communicate and explain financial concepts well. As you'll see through the example I provide, our estate planning reviews are designed to answer these 3 investor desires. So let's take a look here with an example. This is a real life case. Names have been changed to protect the identity of the innocent, but this is a real life case. Kim is an advisor that works with Comprehensive Brokerage Services. She's been with us for a long time. Her practice is in Florida. Teresa is a widow. She grew up and lived most of her life in New Jersey. A few years after her husband died, she moved to Florida to be closer to her grandchildren. A few years down in Florida, she met Kim, and Kim took her on as a new client. As a part of her onboarding process, she had me take a look at Teresa's estate plan. So I'm going to go through the eyelet with you to give you an example and flavor about how this can help you provide enhanced services to your clients. So first thing we do is we look at the parties to the trust and kind of the trust basics. I know that Teresa moved to Florida, but this is a New Jersey trust. The trustee is Richard, who is 10 years older than, or about 10 years older than Teresa. So question, not sure that's appropriate. Successor trustee is New York Penn Bank. I Googled them. I couldn't find a New York Penn Bank, so probably not the best successor trustee. And if the beneficiaries are her 2 adult children, and God forbid if she survives them, everything would go to her sister. So that's the basic parties to the trust. And right off the bat, we have raised some concerns about who the trustee and who's serving as trustee. Next, we looked at the distribution provisions. What jumps off the page in this case is that the trust is divided 50-50 for her 2 adult children. Roger is 37. The trust provides outright distributions at age 35, which means when Teresa passes away, the trust collects the death benefit. His portion will be distributed outright. And that could be a concern because Roger's working on his second divorce. And when an individual receives assets and they're, into their own hands, they become claims of potentially that creditors could go after. So is it appropriate for the trust, if one of her financial goals is to keep her wealth inside the family, which it is, does this trust help get them there? Not so sure about that. Moving on, we looked at the tax considerations. The trust assets are outside the estate. I saw no concerns with the ILIT. I let Kim know that. It's a grantor trust, which is something I look for because it provides potential planning opportunities. In this case, there wasn't anything exotic or too advanced that we needed to do, but I did let Kim know. We looked at the trustee powers because right off the bat, remember, we were concerned. We've got Florida residents with a New Jersey trust, a trustee we're not so sure about, and distribution clauses that may not match up with the family's current situation. So can the trustee change the law that applies to the trust? Can they move the trust? The answer is yes. They have the authority to change situs and choice of law. Florida law permits decanting, which is pouring of the trust assets of one trust into another. So you have an opportunity to make some changes. This plan is not poured in concrete. I let Kim know that. We looked at the trust funding. In this case, it was funded with a VUL. Nothing wrong with VUL. We sell a lot of VUL. But given the Teresa's financial goals, one of those was stability, not losing principal, concern about market performance. The policy had performed really well, as you can see. The cash value is substantial. We are rolling that over via 1035 into a guaranteed policy with no market risk, no performance risk, and no ongoing premiums. So we're eliminating one of those risks. We went over that with Kim. And, if we didn't do the estate planning review, we might not have even uncovered the fact that there's this policy out there because she had not gotten anything in the mail in a long time. That's Teresa hadn't. So maybe her address wasn't updated or was going to the trustee, but it was good that we had this conversation because they uncovered a hidden asset. So what are Kim's talking points? First, do you have the right trustee? I think the answer is probably no, but I'm not, giving tax or legal advice. I'm just raising issues. So for general purposes for Kim, should you move the trust to Florida? Is an outright distribution, given Roger's situation, appropriate? Does a different type of policy better meet your objectives? Right. So those are Kim's talking points. And this is where it went after that. The next steps is Kim introduced Teresa to a new attorney in her network. They are going to decant that trust into a new one. They're replacing the trustee. And they're doing a 1035, as you saw, into a guaranteed product that's more suitable. So that's what Kim was able to the steps, the actionable steps she took as a result of the estate plan review. Now, I want to return to this question because it's the thrust of why we perform this service for the advisors that work with us. What do investors look for in a financial advisor? Well, they help me reach my financial goals. If one of the financial goals is keeping the wealth inside the family, a trust review was essential, and it highlighted a potential problem. Has the relevant skills and knowledge. Now, Kim's not an estate planning expert or anything like that, but as the advanced sales professional at CBS, I'm an extension of her team. So she was able to tap into my knowledge, and it demonstrated to the client the width and breadth of her team. Communicates and explains financial concepts well. As you saw, the example is meant to be plain English and hit the high notes because that's what clients generally care about most. Now, our reviews are not a substitute for tax or legal advice, and they shouldn't be viewed that way. In fact, we tell our agents and advisors that you shouldn't rely on this. If you plan on taking action or not taking action based on a review that I conduct, you should run it by the client's attorney first. This is meant to be general information to deliver what investors are looking for and what clients are looking for. It's not meant to be tax or legal advice. That said, we work closely, often with the client's other professional advisors, attorney, CPA, trustees, to make sure that the estate plan matches the documents and the type of insurance and so forth. We don't just review ILITs, we review the entire gambit of estate planning documents, advanced planning documents, your general estate planning documents, estate freeze transactions, charitable planning, pre and post nuptial agreements. We review the entire spectrum of estate planning documents. So last question. If your GA, IMO, FMO doesn't provide services like this, we'd love to have a conversation with you, because there's a lot more that you can take advantage of from your strategic partners. So please feel free to give me a call. We would love to have a conversation about your business and about how we can support you in your growth.